Met. I'm the president for the Rotary Club of Harrisburg, and I invite you to join us for a traditional luncheon meeting, service on a Monday, or Rotary alternate meeting. Everyone's invited, and that means you. Check out our website or Facebook page for more information.
So please join me in welcoming Sharia Ben.
Thank you. The mission and vision of Sankofa is to engage, educate, and enrich the entire capital region, both counties, Dauphin, Cumberland, and anyone else who may come around the accurate and truthful African-American experience. So I can go on the East Shore and West Shore and tell the stories about this rich community that we all have inherited, whether we are a transplant or whether we have been here from the beginning. We've got rich roots. And Sankofa is honored to be able to tell those stories through this series of, I don't even say plays, but series of experiences where we unpack the old 8th Ward. I am standing on greatness. You are standing on greatness. Literally, these buildings are built on foundations of greatness that we have never even heard about. I couldn't do this work unless there were other people who said, those stories need to be told. So I'm deeply indebted for the work that I can do to the researchers and the history detectives and the founders and people who really take it as to heart to tell these stories about our history. We all know history is important. We learned it in school, they're subjects, but this history is often overlooked. And when it is told, the narrative is not accurate. So that's what we get to do at Sankofa. Sankofa came about because when I moved up here, again, in the 90s, I was looking for an outlet. I love theater, but I'm an insurance geek. And so I love insurance. So I did that during the day. And in Baltimore, I was able to get off from work and then go and have some theater outlets and enjoy some things. I couldn't find that here. Every February, many of the local theater organizations or art organizations would have something for Black History Month. And then all of the theater people, the actors of color, had to vie for 1 or 2 or 3 roles in February. And then there was nothing for another 12 months. Look up August Wilson, but he was the inspiration. We call, he's known as the Black Shakespeare. But Black actors, we would come together and we were doing a number of work in his series. And every year, the actors would say, we want to do more of this. We should do more of this. I wish we had our own company to do this. And for 7 years, that's all it was talk. That going into the 8th year, I said, we've got to stop talking. If we want change, we've got to do something. And again, that's how Sankofa was born. We were blessed to be a partner. This is about partnership. Sankofa is the Elsedex who founded Open Stage. They retired from Open Stage and came on board with Sankofa. So as a company, we're diverse, but in age as well as in race. I am, a 50-something-year-old. Don Elsadak going into his 80s. And so we've got this multi-generational, multi-racial, very different from an artistic perspective. We came together, some other people, and we formed this theater company, Sankofa. The original vision for this was the name was going to be the Actors of Color Theater. We sat down and we took 9 months. Man, we made a baby. We had 9 months of missioning, visioning, and strategic planning. And there were 4 of us during this 9 months. I said, you know what? We have to be more intentional. What is it that we really want to do? And that's where Sankofa, and that's how we became Sankofa. Sankofa is an African principle, mainly out of the people of Ghana. But the principle is you must look back and embrace your past, all of it, the good, the bad, the indifferent. Know it, honor it, process it in your present so that you can move forward with power and purpose. That's Sankofa, and that's what we do in theater. We have been around, we got our 501c3 in 2017 and had our first season in 2018, and then pandemic. So we kind of had a pandemic baby too. But more than the theater company, the work that we had done and work that we needed to do kept us going. We are about saving lives. We use theater as the vessel to do that. So yeah, we're a theater company, but we also do a lot of work around healing and empowering our entire community. I also knew that when we started, our audience would be primarily non-African American. They would be white. We started with shows playing to audiences that were 95% white. And you know what? That's fine and intentional, because I knew that some of you in our audience would only hear these stories from our perspective, from our narrative on stage, because that's probably the only encounter with Blackness, with other cultures that you might have. But that was just the beginning. The vision is that we would have a mix of races, of ages, of East and West Shore coming to the shows and animating democracy. In December, we did Black Nativity by Langston Hughes at the West Shore Theater. The West Shore Theater is just recently opened, beautiful space. You know, when Langston Hughes wrote Black Nativity in the early 1960s, Black folks wouldn't have been allowed or welcomed at the West Shore Theater. And in December, we had sold out shows where our demographics were basically 50-50 Black and white on the West Shore. People were coming in, people felt like they belonged, and there were people walking past the theater who lived in New Cumberland that stopped and had conversations with me about Black Nativity on their marquee. That's the work of Sankofa. Thank you. That's why Sankofa exists. That's why we tell the stories of the 8th Ward. This is our 3rd installment. I invite you to please come out. The actors do a much better job of telling these stories and bringing them to life on stage. And you just get to hang out with your history that you can trust, that you can learn from. You have information that's on your tables about Sankofa. Go to our website, find out more about us. Please come out to the play and learn more about us. And I am so thankful for the work that you all do in your community. Thank you.